Here and Now, the program featuring the news and interests of the African American community. Here's your host, Sandra Bookman.
Coming up, building black businesses, entrepreneurs turning personal challenges into successful endeavors. No one has been harder hit by the current flailing economy than black women, tapping into alternative pathways to build a career and grow wealth. Meet the founder of Camille Rose, the nation's leading black hair care line that started with a home remedy whipped up in the kitchen. Later, how their threat of a life sentence in prison inspired a model turned celebrity makeup artist, now CEO. The former corrections officer who found the recipe for success, baking cookies, and the CEO invested in how you start your day, one healthy spoonful at a time. That's all ahead on Here and Now. No one has been harder hit by the current flailing economy than black women. They've faced higher job losses than any other group. That according to the Economic Policy Institute. Starting a new career can be daunting, but repositioning skill sets can create newfound success and wealth. Our next guest knows a thing or two about tapping into alternative pathways to build a career and grow wealth. Joining us today, real estate broker, star of the Netflix reality show Owning Manhattan, and founder of the Money Matters series, Trisha Lee. You are one busy lady.
I am. We all are.
Yeah, these days. But what I love about your busyness is that you are trying to bring other people along with you in your success, which is a fantastic thing. Now, you owned a very successful nail salon in Brooklyn.
A chain.
A chain of nail salons. And you made a jump into real estate. What inspired you to do that?
You know, I was at a point in my business, it was 10 years in, and I was having some just neighborhood changes that were causing the dynamic of the clients to change. Like I was getting clients that just weren't visiting the salons as often, although they were very loyal to the salon. And then there was development happening that was like slowing down so much of the neighborhood and just traffic and business. And I always thought I would do really well in real estate, but I was kind of afraid to make the jump. And I had a best friend that just kept trying to talk me into it. And I just remember how fearful I was about starting a whole new career and doing something completely different and not being good at something actually. Mm-hmm. And now looking at what's going on in the black, and specifically in the job market with so many black women, I am so empathetic to that feeling of being all the way grown, established, and now you've got to start over. Mm-hmm. And I just feel that real estate is a really great opportunity, and the more lived experience you have, the better you do. So I want women to know that this is an opportunity for so many people to find a career in real estate and utilize the skills from their previous careers.
So, and what is it about real estate was such a good fit for you? I can tell you're a saleswoman. You got that thing.
Yes. I love selling, and I love selling beautiful things. So for me, a home, a house, an apartment, a first house, absolutely. I love sales, but it's like there's something that you can be extremely strong and good at in real estate, and it'll pull you forward. You may have an eye for design. Yeah. You may just be a talker. You may just be a great communicator. You may be a great negotiator. You can really have the finance piece down. You can have like some aspect of your skill set that just propels you in real estate. For me, it was marketing. Mm-hmm. And it was also being able to be very authoritative when it came to making a final decision. If you can't decide, then I will take care of that. I will decide for you, and I will lay out a story for why it's the best decision. But for you, the next person, you could have a completely different skill set. You could do wonders with a kitchen or work with very little to make a bedroom beautiful and find success in real estate. It's such a, I mean, everyone needs a place to live. Everyone will always be an opportunity for new business. Anyone you know, anyone you get to meet, anyone you used to work with, So I just think it's a really good career that people can think about going into and benefit because you've had lived experience and because you know the city, you know the neighborhoods, you know the development. Whatever it is that you're really good at, you'll find a way to push real estate forward. And I had immense success in real estate in my first year because of all the other things I learned at my previous jobs that I would have never thought would have benefited me.
Because sometimes you just don't see it. And I know that one of the things that's important to you, and it's one of the reasons you started your Money Matters series of events, is that you like sharing what you have learned with other women. I guess not only when it comes to maybe having to restart a career or start a different career, but also in terms of building wealth. That's important to me. Talk to me, because you've been doing this, the Money Matters events for what you said, 6 years now?
6 years now, yeah. This will be year 6. We're doing it on March 19th in Soho. We're so excited. And it's year 6. And I wanted to put out an event. Like when I was in beauty, I had beauty events and they were wonderful and they were fun. I guess I felt like at first women really wouldn't be drawn to these events because there was nothing that was, fun and pretty about it. So I thought, when I learn from my girlfriends, when I learn from my clients, every time I share this information with anyone, a neighbor, a friend, like they're completely intrigued. So I'm like, I don't know these things, but I know all these people that know these things. So what I can do is share the experts I have access to, and that's what Money Matters is. It's not me saying, hey, come, let me teach you financial education. It's me saying, this was my accountant, and this is why I think that you need to hear this. This was amazing for me to learn. Or did you know this about insurance? Women can relate to so much challenge in the job market. Ageism is a thing. Yeah. When you get into real estate, I'm sorry, but the older you get, the better you get. The less you work because the bigger you work.
Yeah.
And so I want people to understand that there's so much that I'm learning that I'm happy to share. I'm not an expert. I'm just happy to share the experts with you. That's what Money Matters is really about. And this year we decided to do it all about real estate as opposed to all the different facets of financial wellness because so many people are out of work. And so many professional women don't have a next step.
Yeah.
And I want them to understand that design, decor, architecture,
this is an option.
Real estate finance, real estate law, there's so many options. Yeah. And the business, it has ebbs and flows like every other business, but it's doing very well. And it's an opportunity for people to take this time off to get their license.
Yeah, and it is, you can almost do it on your own terms, as you've pointed out. What is your area of expertise? Shape that your career in real estate around that.
100%.
I cannot let you leave without talking about Owning Manhattan, the Netflix series. I'm one of those people that is obsessed with anything design-oriented or real estate-oriented on TV.
Oh, I love that.
What is it like being part of that? And has that helped you?
Oh, yes. I mean, I always say I have a 24-hour commercial running in every country, on every television. Everyone discovers this show every hour of the day. So it's a lifelong business card. You just can't beat it. But it's a lot of work. It's really exciting because you're putting in this work and then you're seeing it materialize in the benefits of your business. Our business has grown and it's been phenomenal. But it's a lot of work. It's so much work because you don't ever want the show to be a distraction to the work.
Yeah.
So, you meticulously manage both and you almost separate them, although they're completely the same. So I try very hard to be most efficient with my time to make sure I'm giving the best. But the show is fun, and it's absolutely far more fun filming it in the summer than the winter.
Well, I think that's for most things. That's what I say about my job, too.
Can I just do this in the summer?
It's a lot more fun standing out on the street when it's sunny and warm, right?
Right.
And I'm assuming that has helped people to... they get a chance to actually see what you're doing too. Instead of just hearing you talk to them about it.
100%.
They get a chance to see you doing that work.
Yeah, and also understand how, the methodology behind the thoughts and, why you're approaching something one way or another way. I feel like when clients reach out to me, they're like, you're exactly what I've been looking for. And a lot of times it's because I mirror their personality, but that's fine.
whatever it takes,
that's the thing. With real estate, it's like, if you could be a surfer and you never, ever wear closed-toed shoes, and you will work with nothing but homeowners that are surfers that never wear closed-toed shoes. It's wonderful.
What I hear from you is that you were always prepared to do the hard work, whatever it is you were doing. You were ready to do the work. But you also have the ability, I think, to pivot, which some people, you kind of, sometimes we have blinders on, whether or not it's because we love what we do so much. So it's hard to see what the other possibilities are. You seem to have a gift to be able to do that.
I don't think it's a gift. I think I had such a struggle, and so much of my identity was in my previous career and my job that I genuinely did not know who I would be because I was this business owner and I didn't know what else I could be. And because I went through that personal struggle of dealing with my ambition and my identity and how it impacts how I see myself in the world, I understand what people are going through now, and I'm super empathetic to it. And I want them to understand, like I did a stellar career pivot and I was afraid, nervous, did not have a plan, and it was horrible. And then going through it, it was like, this all is making sense. Oh my goodness. So if there's a way to share your own journey and explain to people, like, it is uncomfortable, but trust the process, because every job is an opportunity to get a new skill, to move on to that next opportunity with better skills. And I just feel like so many people around my personal circles are dealing with this struggle right now. I just wanted to be really loud about it. Like, listen, consider other options. Pick up, grab your skills, grab the things that you know you're good at. You're still you and you're still amazing. Take it somewhere else. Bless somebody else with all that.
You are a go-getter. Can't wait to see what else you do. TrishaLee.com.
Correct.
We can find out. That's how we can get a hold of you.
Yep.
We want to buy a house through you with your help.
Yep.
And also Money Matters. The next event, March 19th.
March 19th.
In Soho.
Yes.
And they can find that information on the website.
They get on the website. They can get it anywhere. You can find me at Love Trisha Lee. And then you can also get tickets to the event. It's going to be wonderful. Tickets are almost sold out.
And let's not forget Owning Manhattan on Netflix.
24 hours a day.
All right. So nice to meet you, really. And please keep us posted, because I got a feeling that you're going to be pulling some other things out of your mouth. Thank you very much.
Thank you. It was great to meet you.
We'll be right back. Clean beauty. It's a growing segment of the beauty industry. It refers to products that are safe, non-toxic, and chemical-free. In fact, this segment of the black hair care market is projected to gross $4.6 billion annually by 2032. Our next guest is the CEO and founder of Camille Rose, the #1 black-owned and woman-owned textured hair care brand in the U.S. And it all started in her kitchen. It's our pleasure to welcome Janell Stephens.
Thank you.
You have been one busy lady.
Very busy.
So it started in the kitchen.
Yes.
What set you on this path?
Back in 2011, I went on this quest for all things natural. I started having kids, and I wanted to make sure my lifestyle was all natural. And what I mean by that is the foods that we ate, the products that we use in our home, on our body, on our hair. I just wanted to make sure that I was using great ingredients for me and my family.
And so how did you know, or when did you realize these things that you were cooking up in the kitchen were not only good for you and your children, but
Yes.
perhaps for other people as well?
When they worked, yes. And it just became a passion of mine. I love learning about ingredients, herbs, oils, butters, and the benefits it can have on the body. And so I started giving it to my friends. I started making diaper rash creams, and the next day I saw a difference. And so it was my goal back then not to sell and create a brand, but to help someone else that was struggling and in the same boat I was in, yeah.
And I understand that some of your children had some issues with eczema,
Yep.
and that really led you on the non-chemical hair care path.
Eczema and curls.
Yeah, well.
And so, yes, I was like, okay, I cannot keep using this steroid cream, right? It's working, but when I stop using it, it comes back, and that could be a problem. So again, I studied under an herbalist back then, and label reading. I label read all products that I bought out of a retail store. And I became very surprised at the ingredients that was in those organic or natural products. And so I made everything myself.
Yeah, and Camille Rose, the name.
Yes, Camille Rose. I dedicated the brand to my grandmother, and she loved roses. And so my grandmother lived until she was 99, beautiful, no wrinkles, never really went to a doctor, no real sickness. And she made everything herself. She took care of her family. If we got sick, she handled us. And so her front yard, she had a bunch of roses, and they were always in bloom. Even in the wintertime when she passed away, one rose was in bloom. And so I dedicated it to her.
Yeah, and your company has bloomed
Yes.
with the name Camille Rose. You said to me that your hair care is what kind of took off for you. In fact, how many retailers are you in? It's a big name.
We're in Target, we're in Walmart, we're in Sally Beauty, Ulta Beauty, Whole Foods, CVS, Walgreens. Yes, we're pretty much everywhere.
You surprised by folks' reaction to this? And why do you think more people on the same journey that you were on to find better products, more pure products to use?
And products that actually work. And I think that when I first started making products, it was for me and my family. So I made sure that my formulas delivered and had great, amazing ingredients and not just a little bit of the good stuff. You know, and I think the consumer, when they purchased the Camille Rose product, they felt that and they actually saw a difference on their hair.
Yeah. So what's your biggest seller? What's your biggest seller hair care product?
My signature collections, of course, my Algae Renew deep conditioners that target hair that's breaking, shedding, and thinning. Curl Love Moisture Milk is a leave-in, and Curl Maker, which is a curl definer. So my pink labels are definitely my number one.
And you have said that hair care is the thing that took off fastest. We are obsessed with our hair in the Black community. But you really consider what you have as a lifestyle brand.
We're more than a hairstyle, we're a lifestyle. I have a notebook full of formulas, and I started with skin. But yes, hair took off, thank God. And so in the future, we'll be launching Camille Rose Beauty, which is our facial product line.
Can I ask you, what has, as a small business owner that's getting bigger and bigger, what has been the most difficult thing of being able to mass market this thing that you started in your kitchen?
Yes, I handcrafted everything. My first retail store, I was still hand making everything for that first year. So I knew nothing about getting a laboratory, a manufacturer to help me produce more of the product to meet the demand. And so I had to teach myself all of that. Truly self-taught. I had to figure out how do I get a manufacturer? Are we a great fit? And that was definitely a challenge. So I had to make sure I team up with a chemist who had the same beliefs that I did.
You know, it's a little bit off topic. There's some boycotts against some large retailers these days, you know, with political ramifications. Has that affected you much?
I think it affected the retail store. Our category is, you know, still up. Our brand is still up. But yeah.
You're hanging in there.
Oh, definitely.
Riding the way.
It's very important for us to support Black-owned brands so that we can continue to grow and be able to be a resource to our community.
So tell it what's coming next.
Oh, Camille Rose Beauty. Yes, we just launched our Guava collection in Target and Ulta Beauty and Sally Beauty. And that is a collection to help make wash day easier. But we are launching Camille Rose Face next year. Okay. Yes.
Where can folks, well, you said several retailers, but if I send them to CamilleRose.com.
CamilleRose.com, definitely. All of our collections are there. Target, Walmart, Sally Beauty, Whole Foods, Ulta Beauty, CVS, Walgreens.
You're just
everywhere.
Everywhere.
Yes.
Before I let you go, what piece of advice would you give a future small business owner wanting to do what you have done, taking that baby from the kitchen to mass market? What would you say they need to, how they need to go about it?
Stay the course, do the work, don't back down, just stay focused on your passion.
And believe in yourself.
And believe in yourself, keep working.
All right.
It'll get there.
Janell Stephens, congratulations on all your success.
Welcome.
Can't wait to see some of those beauty-based products on shelves as well. And if you're interested in Camille Rose, CamilleRose.com. We'll be right back. From model to makeup mogul, our next guest's career is a textbook example of what perseverance, tenacity, and good old-fashioned hard work can do. Glamazon Beauty is a cosmetics line created by a former model and celebrity makeup artist. She says her drive to start a business was inspired, at least in part, by frustrating experiences with makeup artists applying the wrong foundations. Joining us this afternoon, the CEO and founder of Glamazon Beauty, Kim Baker. It is so nice to meet you.
Lovely to meet you. I feel like I know you already, though.
Well, I've been around for a while.
I've been watching you.
And several of the makeup artists in our makeup room know and use your products.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. You've just such a wonderful story. How old were you when you began modeling?
I started modeling at age 13. Initially, I was with Elite's New Faces division at age 13, and I just kind of got pulled out of the market, but because my mom wanted me to finish, and Mario Van Peebles, the actor, wanted me to finish my education.
Yeah, instead of, he wanted you to wait until you were a little bit older.
Absolutely. He wanted me to mature a little bit and be focused on school.
Yeah, and you were really one of the first successful plus-size models as well.
I was one of the pioneers of the plus-size model industry. There really was no plus-size modeling until Emmy, myself, and a few other models got together and said, hey, we're tired of dieting and, eating crazy. We want to just be ourselves. And, most of the people in the world are 14 and up.
Yes,
so,
that plus is a misnomer. Yeah, you're actually closer to being the norm.
Exactly.
So tell me a little bit about how you got inspired to go from having somebody else put makeup on your face to not only doing your own makeup, but creating makeup as well.
Yes, well, I fell in love with makeup while shooting for Essence. I used to shoot with a gentleman named Reggie Wells.
Oh, I know.
Oh, yeah, and Reggie would beat my face so beautifully, and it was always done to look natural, and I would always ask questions, and he would always say to me, Mary, are you trying to steal my job? He called everybody Mary.
Yeah.
So, are you trying to steal my job? And I told him, I said, Reggie, I think I'm falling in love with doing makeup. And it was because of the powerful transformation, and that's what I love doing on other women. I love seeing a woman going from maybe not feeling so confident to feeling beautifully empowered. Yeah.
Look, you had a period in your life, I heard you say you were sort of pulled off the market. You got into trouble because somebody else actually got in trouble. It was an old boyfriend. Talk to me a little bit about that and how, that really pushed you to say, this is not going to be the end of my story.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. So, I grew up with daddy issues. When my mom divorced my dad divorced me. So I never had a relationship with my father, and I kind of looked for that in, my first relationship. My first relationship, I fell in love with an older man, and it kind of goes to that story or that saying that your mom says, people judge you by the company you keep. I mean, he's an amazing human being, but we all fall short, and unfortunately, I was pulled into a situation.
He was found guilty of essentially selling drugs, big time.
He was New Jersey's first kingpin.
Yes, and you, because you were dating him, got pulled into this.
Yes.
The judge realized you really had no part in it, and you really felt like that was your second chance.
Absolutely.
So Glamazon, as a result of you going, I'm going to do this the right way.
Well, I was facing 65 years to life.
Okay.
So when somebody tells you, you're facing 65 years, your knees kind of buckle.
I can understand that.
He said that, the Honorable Judge John J. Bissell, who I love saying his name because he's the man who truly gave me a second chance. He said to me, he looked through my portfolio and he said, I really could sentence you to this 65 years, but how does that serve society? And he made me apologize to my mother in court and make a vow to him that, I would find my way out of this, and he was going to be keeping his eye on me.
Yeah.
And when he retired recently, he said I was one of the best decisions he ever made, and he's really happy with what my life turned out to be.
Yeah, it was the right decision.
Oh, yeah.
What'd you do, promise to give him a makeover?
No, I promised him I would not be back in his courtroom.
I'm kidding. I'm giving you a hard time. So, look, we know there's plenty of cosmetic brands on the market. What is it that sets yours apart?
I always say my brand is not just about makeup. And if you look at my face, it doesn't look like I'm really wearing foundation.
No.
I love for skin to look like skin. And my brand comes with a movement, confidence. That's what I want from a woman. I want her to own her own beauty and know that she is enough. And so my products, my foundations truly look like skin. One of the issues I had coming up as a model was having to mix my own foundations.
Yeah.
I hated the way some would be too gray. We already know one was too
red.
red. You know which one that was. But, you know, I was like, I remember being a young girl and my grandmother putting on the red one, and which was the only one we had at the time. And I said to her, Grandma, I'm going to make makeup someday. And I was 9 years old. And my grandma said, bless your heart, what women from the South do.
Yes, we
and,
when we don't really mean it.
I was like, well, I don't think she believes me. Yeah.
And so you did.
And Glamazon was born.
Look, you obviously knew the beauty industry because you kind of grew up in it in a lot of ways, but you still had to run into some roadblocks as you tried to make this a reality. Talk to me a little bit about what was, you know, what some of those were.
Well, you know, in the world of, you know, people of color, money is always the issue. But then I always think back to the fact that no matter what obstacles my ancestors or my forefathers had, we always pushed through.
Yeah.
So it wasn't a dilemma. I'm like, if they could do what they did, I can do what I need to do. And that's exactly what I did. And I went out and I raised my own capital for my brand. And I didn't do it in a, you know, conventional way. I did it the Kim Baker way, going out and speaking to everybody I could. And it worked because I believe in the power of prayer. I believe in the power of faith, and that is what truly got me from A to, I won't say I'm at Z yet, but I'll say I'm at about F.
And in fact, you don't, we're talking cosmetics now, but your plan is really for a lifestyle brand.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
What else are you hoping to add to your line?
Clothing, shoes. So I have a daughter that's 6'2", and you know she has a larger foot, so she can never find Christian Louboutins, or you know, not that she needs to pay $900 to $1,200 for a pair of shoes, but she can never find, you know, like those really fashionable shoes. And I made a vow that I'm going to do that for her, and I will.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what is the advice that you would give another small business owner, that whether it's cosmetics, any other product, that said, you know what, this I think there's a market for this. I think I can do it.
Well, you know what I always say? If you are allowed to dream, it is because it is possible. I always tell people, have you ever had a dream of being a brain surgeon and performing a lobotomy? No, right? It is because you are not allowed that dream. That's not what God has for you. But if you can conceive that I want to do this and I want to do that, it is because it is a possibility. You just have to, you know, map out a plan. You know, ask for advice. You know, go get a mentor. You know, do your research. Listen, we live in a world of ChatGPT and Google. If you tell me you can't get some information right now,
you're not trying
we got
hard
a problem.
enough.
Hello.
So I'm going to send people to glamazonbeauty.com, and obviously social media at Glamazon Beauty.
Yeah.
And we have to mention before you go, Glamazon Beauty, HSN as well.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Kim, thank you so much for being with us.
The pleasure's all mine.
We'll be right back. Breakfast. It's often called the most important meal of the day. Well, one company's ready-to-eat solution for busy people could be a healthy solution to jump-starting your day. Spoonful. It's a Black-owned breakfast and snack food company started by a man who says his own health challenges at a very early age inspired him. Here to tell us more is the founder and CEO of Spoonful, Brooklyn's own, Bradley Gifford.
Thanks
so nice to meet you.
So great to meet you.
And it's nice to see a hometown boy making good here.
Brooklyn, stand up.
So tell me, what were you were 14, is that true?
12. I was 12, yeah.
What were some of the challenges that you faced that made you start thinking, I got to look at how and what I'm eating?
Definitely. So I had eczema, I was short on breath, and I was really tired a lot when I was a kid. I was pretty lethargic, but I would have energy that would kind of come and go, and those just kind of just physical ailments that I kind of naturally had. And then over time I was at the pediatrician and he said, hey, you know, you have high blood pressure. You're gonna have hypertension before you're 30 if whatever you're doing nutrition-wise doesn't change.
And did the process start then?
I wish it did. Unfortunately, it didn't. I thought I played basketball all day and night when I did have the energy, so I felt like you could kind of out-exercise or out-activity any sort of nutrition-related things, and I was a kid, so I felt like I could worry about that later. Worry about that when I'm a big old adult, but once I became a young adult, that was really when I started to feel the negative effects of my decision-making and had to look inward, so I stopped eating processed foods, stopped drinking sugary sodas and sports drinks with a lot of additives, just had a lot of water. I ran and boxed six days a week, and just through that process, I actually lost 70 pounds. So that was really where kind of the idea for Spoonful kind of came from, but we'll get into that.
No, I think that's terrific, and it makes really good sense. That a lot of people say you find you know, if you want to have a successful product, business, what have you, there's an issue out there. You find a solution, and you lived kind of the solution.
Yeah.
Your background is also interesting too, because you're a branding and marketing strategist.
Yes.
So then you had this health issue that you overcame. You sort of combined the two.
Definitely.
So you have a really good understanding not only of what's in your product, but how to get the word out about it.
Definitely. I definitely made the product for people that read the back of the label, but I know that most people really only care about the front. So I wanted to make something that looked good, that looked exciting, that looked enjoyable, that looked engaging, like a lot of the sodas or the chips or the candies, but inside was super delicious, very clean label, functional, and was just something that made you feel like you weren't taking the fun out of eating in order to do something for your health. So
what are we talking when we say Spoonful product-wise? It's not just oatmeal.
Right now it is just oatmeal. Okay. So the brand Halo is kind of high protein grab-and-go breakfast and snack foods. So right now we're starting with overnight oats. They're gluten-free, dairy-free, no artificial sweeteners, soy. We use glyphosate-free oats. There's no seed oils in our milk. And we add flax, chia. We have 14 grams of plant protein and 8 billion strain, or 8 billion CFUs, or 8 premium probiotic strains as well.
Now, a hyper-educated consumer, everything you just said, they go, oh, that's the product for me.
Check.
The rest of us are going, so
does it taste good? Does it taste good?
I hate to say it, but that is that's the question.
Most people think when I go down that list of saying it doesn't have this, it doesn't have that, most people will say, okay, so it doesn't have any of the things that's gonna make it taste good. So that was definitely a bit of work we had to do, but that's really where our label, our branding, our community building, our storytelling, and our just give back work, that's really where we're able to kind of meet people where they are and where we sell it and kind of make them think otherwise. And
I mean, listening to you talk, it seems like this is like the perfect moment for that, because people are starting to be aware of some of the things that you put in your body that does taste good. I really love Captain Crunch, but I know I should not be eating them. So I'm laughing.
It is good, though.
You're laughing.
It is good.
Very good.
It is very good.
But it's not good for you.
Right.
But we're starting to really, I feel like, recognize that. And a lot of people, especially when they start thinking about what they feed their children, forms lifelong habits.
100%.
Is that something important to you?
That's exactly who we realized in our earlier days was our customer, was somebody that was getting to a point where it wasn't just a cool thing to buy the newest, healthy, kind of hot thing, but it was something that had real life implications on them, but the rest of the people in their household. So they're making decisions not only for themselves, but for their children, and kind of setting an example of what their health is going to look like over the long term. And
what are your hopes for Spoonful? As you said, we started with the oats. I know it's a snack company too, and I get that in my head, it's also sort of a food lifestyle brand.
Yeah, definitely. We want to make reliable, trustworthy content for people to use to make decisions about their health, whether that's with nutritionists or coaches or practitioners. But then we also just want to kind of innovate on longer shelf life. Right now, our product's fresh, so it doesn't have any preservatives, so it's great for our local channels, but we have dreams of being nationwide. We want to be in Costco and Whole Foods and Walmart and all the things, so we're going to have to commercialize our product a bit more, expand our shelf life a little bit, and make new products that, you know, are able to be appealing to consumers in more remote areas. So maybe it's not a fresh grab and go thing, but maybe, you know, it's a shelf stable thing that has a lot of protein, but it comes in a bar or a bite or a cookie, let's say. I don't know, but we're open to exploring, and it's a lot of fun making new products.
Look, you have perfect background for starting a brand like this, but how easy or difficult has it been to get this off the ground?
It's been tough. Oh, I mean, CPG is consumer packaged goods. It's a labor of love. I mean, it's very labor and cash intensive. So it's not for the faint of heart. But I would say it's been something that has been more science than art. You know, making batches of a dozen or 2 dozen for your friends. You can mix and match and go down to the taste, and you can go off feel. But once you're making 7,000 a month, it has to be formulaic. It has to be down to the letter. So going through that process of, you know, just making a recipe to making a formula, that's kind of been a crash course in a process of discovery that's been pretty amazing. I am a marketer. I didn't think I was a food scientist, but I think I am now.
What would you tell somebody that was going to start walking down this road, whether it was food or something along the lines about doing it, if it, you know, how difficult or hard, or, you know, what it takes to make it happen?
Something that I love about the CPG industry that was such a pleasant surprise was how giving other founders really are. You know, because everybody is fighting the same kind of battles from an operational standpoint. We're just solving problems of different sizes and scale. So if you don't have a directly competing product, to me, I've often found that a lot of founders are happy to tell you who their partners are for this, or who they work with for distribution, or what channels are really working for them to grow and kind of expand, so that way early stage founders can kind of avoid some of those bumps in the road. So that's been the best part about this experience, and thankfully as a solo founder, I haven't been able to, you know, go at this alone, but rely on my community and then my team as well.
It honestly, you sound like the man that knows exactly how to get this going and make it a success.
After bumping my head up against a wall with a bunch of different formulations, I hope so. I hope so.
And at Grab Spoonful, their social media presence, and spoonful.life.
Spoonful.life.
And you can buy?
Yes, you can buy off the website. We're also in Fairway. We're in all the Fairways around New York. We're on Fresh Direct. We're in Gourmet Garage. And keep an eye out. We're actually launching into all of the Joe Coffees around New York City as well. There's 25 of them. So just trying to make it a little easier for people to get us where they want.
That is fantastic. You got to keep us updated.
Absolutely, I will. And I'll send you some jars as well for your home supply.
All right. Thank you so much for sitting down
me.
with us this
It's so lovely
afternoon.
to
It's a
meet you.
pleasure to meet you. We'll be right back. The food truck industry in the U.S. generates an estimated $2.7 billion a year. For some small business owners like Maurice Mortgage of the Bronx, rolling out his bakery business on a food truck made perfect sense.
Before Cookie Monsters, I was a New York City correction officer. I retired earlier than expected. You know, I suffered an injury on the job, and, you know, that prevented me from fully fulfilling the duty of a correction officer. And it's a permanent injury that I'm, you know, dealing with right now. Even as I'm working and as I'm baking, you know, it's still something that I'm dealing with, but, you know, it's not stopping me from the passion. So the name of the company is Cookie Monsters, as you see on the sweatshirt. We changed the cookie, the C in cookie to a Q, and the U in monster from a no. So we did that because we wanted to differentiate ourselves from the Cookie Monsters from Sesame Street. I'm in the beginning stages. Of course, you know, it takes a lot more, but I mean, I'm just happy that I started. I think there's more to come. We've done some nice collaborations with different companies, like we've done Nike tournaments, we've done Foot Locker, Silver Cup Studios, and we've you know, familiarized ourselves with Clearview festivals, which is one of the street fairs that we do all around the city. I just had a passion from my early childhood. I'd say when I was a teenager, just playing video games. I remember there was like a Otis Spunkmeyer cookies, and it was fresh baked on the spot. And you know, I tried one of them, and it was just like an instant, like, you know, this is what I want to do. Since my early childhood with my mom, you know, she's of West Indian culture, so we made a lot of different desserts, different cakes, different type of stuff. And you know, I always try to like make her cakes into cookies. So that's where the cookie stuff started. in Jamaica, we have like an Easter bun. So I did a cookie in correlation to the Easter bun. Also like a rum cake. I've done rum cake cookies as well. So, you know, those are like just little samples of course, the ginger snaps and things like that. So those are like beginning types of desserts that we would make. Chocolate chip cookies are very popular. We've done a lot of street fairs this past summer, and that was the cookie that everyone kept coming back for, and you know, they really crave it. There's my flour mixed with the other stuff that makes my chocolate chip cookies so different. Everything is pre-measured already. So I have my cocoa, of course, and I have my flour mixture. So, and other seasonings and spices to make that chocolate chip cookie unique. The food truck we started in 2022. It was because the pandemic happened, and you know, we saw the way brick and mortars was just going down at that point, and you know, we wanted to actually be more in touch with people, and that is where the cookie truck idea came from. When that pandemic happened, we saw a lot of like delis, bakeries, a lot of places that we would normally go to shut down. So we was looking at the trend of that, and we said, you know, let's try to do something different. So we started at pop-up shops, and you know, doing that all over the city, and then we ventured off and said, hey, you know what? Why not do a cookie truck? So we can do like a mobile pop-up. I advertise on social media a lot. I'm on Instagram, so you can find me, Cookie Monsters, on Instagram, also Facebook. Just one of those things that I needed to follow. I wanted to follow my mind, my heart, and do something that I always thought about, but always wanted to do. You want a cookie, you want a classic traditional cookie without the extra, you know, fillings and words that you can't spell. You just want a simple cookie, and some people want that, and that's what we have. I just love cookies, you know, and I just feel like you do what you love, and that's, you know, one thing I always followed. Like if something, you know, resonates with you, is something that you love to do, do it.
Sandra Bookman and Here and Now will be right back.
This afternoon, we have heard from several entrepreneurs who have turned their big ideas into successful businesses. But for many, starting a company can be daunting. Our next guest says she's in the business to help you craft that fresh idea into a powerful strategy. Here to tell us more is the founder of Idea Manufacturer, Gina Ramcharan. Did I say it right?
You did.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right. It's so nice to see you again.
Thank you, and thank you for having me back.
Well, we thought it was important to sort of get a broader perspective on, you know, what it means to be a small business owner and really what it means to get started. You know, when you look at the state of the economy today, and I am afraid to see where the stock market is sitting, you can understand why somebody that thinks they have the idea is like, is this the time? Can I do it now? What should I be doing? What would you suggest to anyone right now, given what's going on in the world? We're talking about the tariffs, we're talking about the stock market being a real roller coaster. What would you say to them about possibly starting a business now? Do I wait? Do I go? What do I do?
At any time anyone wants to start a business, the first thing I say is take a personal assessment before even thinking about putting the first word on your business plan. That personal assessment will save you so much time and money and keep you from falling apart, so to speak. We actually have an assessment on our website right now that helps. It's fun, it scores, but it lets you know, are you really ready to dive into entrepreneurship? Given today's narrative, it's even more important. But at any given time, if you're ready, there's a checklist of items to go over. And one is, first, that personal assessment. The next is to write a business plan. Identify what you're bringing to market and is there a need for it. the best businesses fill a void. There's necessity is the mother of all inventions. Very important.
And one of the things, just reading about small businesses, Black women are opening them. Really, they're doing more when it comes to small business than just about any other group. Why are the two things, small businesses and Black women, it's such a team? Why are we seeing that?
I think Black women are leading the way in entrepreneurship for a number of factors. One, the corporate world is not so kind. They're sick of the microaggressions. They know that they have talent and a skill set, and they can do it for themselves. I think that's one of the leading things that's driving women, Black women toward entrepreneurship. The other, for a lot of folks, including Black women, is that we are often sold on the narrative, go to college, get a great job, and it's just not satisfactory. It doesn't bring satisfaction anymore. Tuning into our own resiliency is really important in identifying what's the next thing that's going to make me happy, and entrepreneurship just might be that thing, and I think that also adds to why Black women are leading the way.
And if there are people, and not just women, out there thinking about starting that business, taking that big step, talk to me about some of the common pitfalls that you can avoid right off the bat if you just do the right thing or take it slow and steady.
That business plan.
You are big on the business plan.
I am big on the business plan. Far too often, I have clients that come to me after they've started a business, after they've lost a lot of money, because they didn't have a strategy in place. And it doesn't have to be the size of War and Peace. It can be a lean model business plan, but nevertheless, there should be a plan of action that one can follow. And not just you, but when you start a business, I hope you're hoping to scale. That business plan lays the foundation for your employees that will onboard later. So yes, I am big on the business plan.
And if you need to seek financing, you have to have a business plan, don't you?
You most definitely have to have a business plan, not just for financing, but if you are going to be in brick and mortar, you need a business plan. For the landlord will want to see a business plan. Something else that I think is also important is sharing your dreams with your circle. I don't advise anyone just jump into entrepreneurship before they make sure that they have a solid foundation under their feet.
And by foundation, what are we talking about? Support, monetary, what do you think gives them that solid foundation?
Friends and family, and not just monetarily, but with hands-on support. Women are leading the way. Black women are leading the way. There's childcare. There may be childcare issues. As women, we don't get excused from being the cook, the baker, and the candlestick maker just because we own a small business. So it's really important to have those friends and family around you to buoy your success.
And one last thing, starting a business, you said you're meeting a need. Sometimes, though, it is just a hobby and not a possible business. How do you tell the difference?
People can take a hobby and turn it into a business. I throw up a flag of caution about that. If your hobby is something that brings you joy, if it creates peace in your personal space, it's probably not the way you should start it. It's probably not a business for you because you will have eliminated what brings you joy.
Okay. All right. If folks want to reach out to you, get some of this expertise, and I really think that checklist you have is important, we can send them to ideamanufacturer.com.
Absolutely.
All right. Gina Ramcharan, am I saying it right?
Correct.
Okay. I don't know why I've got this thing about names today. I want to make sure we put it out there right. Thank you. You were always so kind about sharing your time and your expertise with us, and we appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining us on Here and Now. If you missed any portion of today's show, you can watch at abc7ny.com/here and now, or listen to our podcast wherever you subscribe. If you'd like to comment or share your story, email us at hereandnow@wabc.com or follow us on Facebook and Instagram. I'm Sandra Bookman. Enjoy the rest of your day.